All right, so you're out there in the water. Hopefully you're catching fish. If you're not, there's plenty of other reasons to be out there in a kayak. And this is one of my favorite reasons why I do it. I continue to do it. It's just the scenery and the nature. I've seen so many neat things being out on the water that I never would have seen in a loud boat or going faster in a boat. About a month ago I saw I'll make that a trivia question. Anybody know what a coati is? Nobody? Nobody knows what a coati is? You do? A fish? No. So a coati is kind of rare around here, but I saw it at Saguaro Lake. And it's like a ring-tailed, it's almost like a raccoon mixed with a something, I don't know. Coatimundi? How do you say it? Coatimundi. All right, close enough. Since you corrected me, how about, you want some cactus ringworms? Go fishing?
Like coati?
All right, here, Dad. Excellent. I've seen, of course, you're going to see bald eagles and all the birds and everything, bobcats, deer, sheep, ram, you name it. I've seen it. The only thing I haven't seen yet, it's probably seen me, is a mountain lion. I haven't seen that. It's probably seen me because I'm out there all the time. All right, back to fishing. So you're out there fishing or you're rigging. So what are some of the things you can rig to your kayak? So you got it now. I recommend going out without really rigging the heck out of it before you use it. Go out simple at first. Figure out how you like to move in it, where you want things, all those before you start poking holes or doing add-ons. But some of the basic things that people add are ways to stop yourself in the water or position yourself. So anchors, anchor trolleys. So an anchor trolley, this boat doesn't have it installed, but basically an anchor trolley is basically like a clothesline on a pulley. So it typically goes from one end of the boat to the other end. It's dual rope along a pulley system. It'll typically have a ring in the middle, and you can move that ring up and all the way up and down the side. So that's where you tie your anchor to. So you tie your anchor off to that ring, and you can then position your boat depending on the wind by moving that anchor trolley. So maybe the wind's pushing you this way, you want a boat, move this way, you adjust that anchor trolley a little bit. And you can put them on both sides of your kayak if you want. I prefer to only have it on one side. There are shallow water anchors. So basically just sticks, kind of, long 8-foot sticks that you can use. Again, you would put that in that ring on that anchor trolley, and that kind of keeps you in place. You can just throw out an anchor anywhere too, really. Some of the other rigging, people are going to add rod holders. Some boats will come with a few molded rod holders. They may even come with some external rod holders. But there's various mounts, various companies, Ram, Scotty, you name it, there's a gazillion of them that will, all kinds of different rod holders. Figure out what kind of rod holders you want and add them where you want them, where you want them. These are actually adjustable on this H-rail, so you can move them wherever you want, but you can put them anywhere. I don't use rod holders often for the front of the boat unless I'm doing trolling for stripers, where I may have two lines out, because legally in Arizona you can fish with two poles now with our license. So I may have a crankbait on this one and a swim bait on this one, and I'm just scooting around waiting for them to bite. Just paddling around, watching them poles, all of a sudden, all right, got one over here. Excellent, reel it in. So I do have a couple of rod holder mounts in the front, the actual base of it, but I don't always put the rod holders in there. It just depends on what type of fishing I want to do. Electronics. You can add electronics just like you can a bass boat. Put any kind of electronics you want on it. Small, medium, large, put whatever you want on here. But that gets you into another arena where now you're going to add a battery. You're going to need a battery to run that electronics, or maybe run your LED lighting. So I'll give you a little quick, this is one of the questions that come up all the time when people buy kayaks and they want to add fish finders. What kind of batteries do I need? So typically, the industry, there's like the little scooters that drive people around, golf carts, things like that. 12-volt industry, deep cycle. You don't want one of those giant 12-volt Group 31 size that you put in a bass boat. You don't need that big. Plus, it weighs like 50 pounds. You get you a little 12-volt, batteries plus, wherever, deep cycle, and you pretty much have a few choices. There'll be the regular sealed lead acid type or the AGM, or you can go with the newer lithium style. Lithium ion is great. I'll give you well, you can't all feel this at the same time, but batteries are rated not only the voltage, but the amp hour. So there'll be a AH rating, amp hour. So this one right here is 4.5 amp hour. What that means is if you have something drawing 1 amp of current, in theory, if you could use 100% of this, it should last 4.5 hours. This one right here is a 15 amp hour. This is a lithium. This lithium actually weighs, even though it's 4 times the capacity, it weighs a little bit less than this 4.5. Now 4.5 is not going to get you very far with a fish finder unless it's a really small, like a 3-inch screen. That will run it all day. That will run it a good 6-8 hours. You'll be fine. If you go into a larger screen, something like a 7-inch, it's probably going to last you about 4 hours for something like this. There is a trade-off with the lithium though. Costs you a little more money, but it saves you weight, and then you can use 100% of it. Where these you really shouldn't use but 50 to 60%, or they really start degrading they start getting a bad memory in them.
How do you recharge it?
How do you recharge them?
Is it just a regular battery charger?
If it's a regular battery charger will do it. You're typically gonna don't put it on a mass. You know, a lot of times a battery charger will have like a turtle and a rabbit on it. You know, you don't want to send 20 amps to something like this. It's just gonna blow up. So you want like a little trickle charger. Yeah. The lithiums are gonna have probably their own chargers. You got to be safe with those. So be careful with those. But just read some, Battery Plus, I'm sure can help you out, or just do some internet research. But they charge just like any other batteries, and that's the other key thing is you want to keep your batteries fresh. Charge them after you get home, or at least the next day or so. Don't let them die on you. All right, so you're out there fishing, you got your electronics, your rod holders, you're having fun, you're catching fish, you want to keep fish. You can keep fish on stringers, fish bag, what have you, all those type of things if you want to keep fish. Otherwise, we do a lot of, in our tournaments and such, we do a lot of catch, photo, release. How we do that, besides a camera, is what we call, this is called like a hog trawl. Basically lay the fish on here, head over here, tail over here. Hopefully the tail's over here. But basically we put it on the board, take a picture of it, date, timestamp, boom, you got a record of your memories. And that's what we use in our tournaments. We don't go by pounds because we don't keep the fish. We don't have big live wells. We go by inches. So long and skinny is good for me. Good for me. The longer the better. Oh, I forgot some of the other rigging. This is one of the more basic things that people add to the kayaks right away. This is a more advanced, but a lot of people go cheap. Milk crate. Milk crate in the back. Put your gear in there, your tackle. You can add some PVC cheaply to make rod holders, and you're good to go with it. Just pick up a cheap milk crate, and you're good to go. Hold all your gear. All right. Let's see. What else can we talk about? I can't remember everything. I'm getting old. Let me see. Any other questions before I try to read this? Yes, sir.
If the batteries get lower in voltage, does it affect how the fish finders scan the structure?
The question was, if as the batteries are being used, as the voltage drops, and they will drop on the AGMs and the sealed lead acids, will it affect the fish finder? I don't think it affects it until it actually shuts it off. So as you start using it during the day, you'll notice your battery going from 12 to 11 to 10, and usually the hummingbirds, the Lowrances of the world, they usually start dropping out about 9 volts, 8 volts, and they just start blinking and then eventually shutting off. All right.
You fish mostly at night?
No, I fish a lot during the day, but I fish a lot at night too. It just depends on in the summer it's more night down here, but definitely early morning as well. Fishing tackle. All right, fishing strategy. This is a little bit different than a bass boat because you don't have the room. So this is where I recommend making a grab bag. So you may have, or maybe you don't, 8, 10, 20, 100 boxes of tackle at home in your garage or in your house. Can't fit all that in the kayak. So kind of pre-plan your day. Do a little internet research, read the fishing reports, get an idea of what you're comfortable with that day, and make yourself a little grab bag. You know, if you're going to be drop shot fishing, you know, bring a few different colors of worms. Don't bring every drop shot worm you have. You know, same thing with weights and sinkers. You know, bring yourself a little grab bag. You know, I usually go out with probably about 3 or 4 tackle, little three, I think they're 3700 series, filled with different things for that day. So I may have some, if I'm totally unsure what's going on, then I'll try to do it by water column, where if I have no idea where the bass are going to be that day or that species that day, I'll go out with a grab bag that has a few baits for top, maybe a few baits for mid or shallow, you know, more mid and then really deep. So just make yourself a little grab bag in your tackle boxes. And this is where I fail, is when you get home, you're supposed to empty that back into those bigger boxes. So I got a mess all over the place. I'm always having to reorganize. But make yourself a little grab bag. That way you have minimal gear, you have minimal weight with you. And then it actually forces you to concentrate on those methods as well too. So it kind of helps you.